we have another youth intake. But unfortunately, my assistants lied to me again. So folks, here we are. This is what I was given. I've actually just taken a screenshot. This is a screenshot rather than the game that you're looking at here. I've taken a screenshot of this youth intake as I was shown it before I got it. Just have a quick look for a moment. What do you see there? What's the most obvious thing that screams out at you? Yes, you're right. It's the 5 stars on the top right. Well, let's just take this out now and show you the game instead, shall we? And here we go. It's quite a big drop. You would think perhaps that maybe they'd had a better idea, wouldn't you? So I'm a little annoyed about that. That said, I do think we've got one good player, Davide Stipa, who looks to me to be a very, very good striker, who is going to become really good. I think this might end up being the best striker we've ever had. Not straight away, but it will happen, I think, because the mentals are good enough that he should improve and improve and improve. Some quite good mentals already, and those will get better. Some of those technicals looking pretty good for the roles that he's likely to be taking. Poacher almost certainly, I think. Possibly a pressing forward, but probably a poacher, I think. And look, this is the kind of player that I've been hoping for a long time. Michele Reddy, I think his days are now numbered with that in mind. Good though he's been, given that he's a youngster who's come through, and I didn't actually think he would come to much. He's done better than I was expecting, although this year hasn't been as good. So, yeah, welcome, Davide Stipa. I'm just quickly going to do my wizardry. I will be back in a second, and you should see a very small difference. So here we are, and you can see I've just marked the players because it does make a big difference to be able to see these players. I have noticed one thing that's made me a bit worried about this guy. He's fickle. Now, that's quite possibly going to be a problem. The one thing that mitigates that, I think, is that I'm going to give him first-team football pretty much from the off, and that might give me a bit of loyalty from him, I would imagine. So it may not be as bad as that looks, but it's certainly not ideal. Anyway, I'm going to be back at the for the next game, which I'm not actually going to do the spell game because I don't think it's particularly important. We are obviously looking at staying off relegation, so it's much, much more important for us to see games against teams below us. So to that end, it's going to be Modena and Perugia today, both away from home, so toughish games. So I'm hoping I might be able to pick up at least a couple of points against Spal and Venezia. We are not safe yet, but we're not far off, I don't think. So hopefully we might be able to get ourselves to safety in today's video. We will be doing an end of season review almost certainly, unless at the end of this video it looks like we might be getting relegated. So if after the Perugia game it looks like we're either safe or pretty much safe, then the next video will just be an end of season review and a transfer special. But that all depends on what's going to happen in these next 4 games. So I'll be back for the Modena game in a second, when hopefully we'll be 3 points further on. Right, and here we are for the Modena game. Before we get into it though, I just want to share yet another disappointing result with you. We lost 2-1 to Spal, but this time we were a little bit unlucky. Zeri scored in the 18th minute. We actually had the better of the game for, I felt, most of it. I know that the XG seemed to be quite close throughout, but certainly up till this point when we stopped having chances, we were having the better chances. Those 2 chances, from what I remember, were actually just really good saves by our keeper, and he was just having a decent game at that point. You can see he let himself down later on. But we kept creating chances, and we could easily have scored more than one. And as you can see, we got sucker punched at the end with 1 decent chance and 1 absolute screamer. I might as well show you the winning goal, because as you can see, there wasn't a lot of XG in that. So yeah, today we have a big game against Modena, because we are obviously in such poor form after we made such an incredible start. The fact is, we've now got 2 wins since, well, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, basically. 2 wins in 5 months is relegation guarantee, really, usually. It's only because we had such an incredible start to the season that we've got any chance of staying up. I still think we probably will, but I'm definitely not certain. We're 7 points ahead of Perugia. So that makes this game pretty important, and obviously we have the Perugia game coming up in 2 games after that. So we are going to go with this team today, although Benedetti I think I'm going to be losing for Rota. I'm going to give him a game in central midfield. I played him mostly in the left wing at the moment so far, but I think it's time to give him a go in the middle. We're also going to bring in Stipa because why not? At this point we haven't got a lot to lose. Let's bring on Stipa for Burger King, who is not even going to be here for much longer. And then Mattioli is the other one I've brought in, who, I mean, he's certainly not that good. He's probably a central defender, but he's not great. I'm going to put him on the bench just because we might as well give him a chance if we need him. We haven't got a huge number of decent defenders, so it just would be helpful to have that little bit of extra cover there, just in case. I will also have Roller on the bench. So this is our team for today, and hopefully Stipa can make a good mark today on his senior debut. And I might try and bring Mattioli in just because, well, to give him a debut really. So here we go. Bleve is in goal for Modena, former Zaffarana keeper, one of many of course. We seem to have had most Italian keepers at this point. Don't notice any other names. Don't think I do anyway. So can we take advantage and try and get a big win here? This would pull us away a little bit. Modena are obviously one of our relegation rivals, really. They are not in the relegation places at the moment themselves, but they are a few points below us. So big game here and a big win this would be if we could get that. I mean, a draw would be fine, but a win would certainly be very, very valuable at this point. It's not inconceivable we could still finish 7th in the European places, I suppose, for want of a better phrase. And Modena are on the attack, and they've headed wide. Let's cut that. And that looks like it might be a penalty. Usually these highlights tend to be, because otherwise they're just not shown. Yeah, it is indeed a penalty. Ogunseye steps up and puts Modena 1 up. And this unfortunately has been coming. They've been very much dominant at this point. And we need to start doing something to get back into this game. I'm going to be a bit more positive because clearly our cautious approach is just inviting them on. And we do have our first attack of the half in terms of highlights. Colucci, can he get across it? He can, but Castellucci heads it straight into the arms of Bleve. Castellucci has it now on the wing, crosses it in Lazzeri, and Bleve holds that easily. Little bit of encouragement towards the end there, just showing a little bit of an attack. Not great chances, but doing something. I don't think we have been unlucky, but that was clearly what was going to inspire them, and it has worked. So hopefully, we'll see. Yeah, we see a lot of happy faces here, and that might mean that we come out of the traps in the second half and make something happen. But unfortunately, it's them that have done that. Within a minute of the restart, we conceded to just careless, really. This is very worrying. Right, Stipa has not had his greatest game, unfortunately. So we're going to bring Reddy on. Colucci now. Squizzato, Colucci. And we've got a goal. Rotto gets a goal. It's a good little foothold on the game. It's not impossible we could still get something out of this now. Colucci. Riella, back to Colucci, back to Riella. Riella loses the ball, but we're still attacking, and Bleve holds it at the end. So Castellucci off because he's struggling a little bit. Bring on Musa. Can we get the hot ball back? No, it looks like Castellucci is going to have a decent chance, but good keeping by Perizan. Lazzeri is not doing much, so I think it's time to bring on Brigliadori, I suppose, is the obvious one, isn't he? It's going to have to be Brigliadori. Oh, we could try Roller up front. Yeah, let's try Roller. Don't usually play him up front, but it's worth a try. Since their second goal, we have been better, but just haven't quite done enough, I think. And Damiani's just ended any chance of us getting anything out of this. We've had some very disappointing performances recently, and apart from about a 15-20 minute period in the second half, this is definitely one of them. And we've actually been spanked in the end. Certainly on the first half performance, this is not unwarranted. but we were a little bit unlucky in the second half to lose it quite so heavily. We've effectively lost the second half 3-1, and that isn't really the story of the second half. But overall, no doubt we deserve this. See, there's a big gap. It's not 4-1 gap, but it's a big gap. Not a great performance there, and we are still a few wins away from being sure of this. My target was 42 points at the end of the season, which is obviously just one more win. I'm not sure that will definitely do it anymore. Still might, but I'm not sure. We certainly wouldn't be any lower than 18th, but 18th unfortunately would not be good enough. So I'll be back very shortly in 9 days for the game against Perugia. That is now an absolute must-win game because Perugia are the team that we need to make absolutely certain we finish above. My guess is if we win that game, that probably will be enough, but we need to. So I'll be back in 9 days, and we will have a look at the Venezia game and then play that Perugia game. And hopefully by then, we might be able to declare ourselves safe, but it's certainly not there yet. See you in a minute. Right, this has been a very dispiriting season, I have to admit. We are falling like a stone. 39 points now, 34 games. And given we had 29 points in the first 15, we picked up 10 in the next 19. That's not great. And we need to. We're still going to need at least one win. I'm pretty sure of that. And today really needs to be it. I think if we win today, we should be all right. Because this is our big rival for that survival. And so if we do win this game, then we should, I think, be fine. But that's a big if, unfortunately. Do I go with 2 youngsters? No, I don't think I can. We're going to go with Reddy today instead of Stiper, because Stiper's had a bit of an iffy start, but he can come off the bench and hopefully get something at some point. It'd be nice if he could get a goal before the season's over. So that's our team today: Perizan, Colucci, Fredella, Brambilla, Di Marco. And we've got Reddy, Belloni and Riella, Castellucci, Squizzato and Lazzeri. Right, I've told them there's no pressure on us, but the fact is there is, because we need to survive. And this is the team that we need to be making sure we stay above. This is pretty much the game. Draw wouldn't be a disaster, but a win would almost make us safe, I think. It would certainly mean that we've hit my target for the season, which was 42 points. Given how well we did at the start of the season, it's very disappointing no matter what happens from here, but 42 points would have done at the start of the season for sure. And now we have an injury we really didn't need with Colucci getting injured. I'm not quite sure why I played him there thinking about it. Probably should have played Lacti in the first place. Come on now. Squizzato steals the ball in midfield, but we lose the ball almost instantly. We're so bad at losing possession unnecessarily. Lazzeri finds... Oh, doesn't quite manage to find Reddy. Perizan clears it forward, but can't get that ball. These long balls are just not very helpful, and this is the thing. We can't really strike the balance between playing ridiculously long balls that have no chance and playing out as if we're Arsenal. Lazzeri, Squizzato. Lazzeri's there, and Del Favero, I think he was offside anyway. Lazzeri's through, and it's another save. Riella takes the corner. We have at least had a couple of chances here. We're not being completely dominated. But the fact is, this is the team, given that they're third from bottom, this is the team that we should be beating. Right, and we're off in the second half. I think managed to keep it down to 0-0 is probably the best way I could put it in that first half. Because whilst we had a couple of chances, they were by far the better team. That's Eri, finds Belloni, Riella. Should be such a big win if we could get it. Castellucci's through. Oh, that might have been the chance, guys. That might have been the chance. Riella crosses it and doesn't find a head. It was a good chance though, wasn't it? Di Marco crosses the ball but can't find a Zaffarana foot, or at least certainly can't find a Zaffarana shooting foot. Right, we're going to bring it on Mr. Stipa. Say a draw would be okay, a defeat certainly wouldn't be, and I think that's going to be a penalty. It always is, unfortunately. Shibakase. And it just feels like that might be a very, very big moment in this save. Because suddenly now, it's Frosinone who are our big problem, and they're only 2 points behind. We need a goal. We need a goal urgently. I don't think we're going to find one, unfortunately. Just tried to push everything at it. We are about as attacking as we could possibly be at this point. We're obviously going to leave ourselves exposed. It's kind of a given. They're probably going to score again. And the problem is we have fallen apart this season after an incredibly good start. It's not just relegation form. We've been barely getting a point since about mid-season. And we don't get a point here either. Don't know why I told them I was proud of them. It was awful. And now suddenly we are in the mud. Completely in the mud. We can't get enough goals, this is the thing. You look at our goal scorers. We've got one player who scored 10 goals and no one else has got more than 5. And that's just not good enough. And I think we're just going to have to accept that if we get relegated, we kind of deserve to be after the second half of this season. It really is an incredible season. I mean, it's not quite a season of 2 halves. It's the season of the first quarter and the second 3 quarters. And the first quarter might just be so good that we're going to be all right, maybe. But these 5 defeats in a row for the second time, I think. Yeah, second time this season we've lost 5 in a row. And if we lose the last 3, I'm pretty sure we will go down. We still probably only need 1 more win, but it's not ideal. So that clearly means, guys, we're going to need to come back for the last game. We will be back for Pisa at home. I am fairly certain we will need to win that, or at least get a draw. I hope I'm wrong, but I just have a feeling that's going to be the case. So we will be back for the relegation finale. Hopefully we can avoid that. And then obviously we will have a summer transfer window coverage as well. So we'll have, instead of what we usually do, which is the first game of the season at the end of the transfer window, transfer video, I will have the last game of the season followed by the transfers. It's obviously a really tough time at the moment in this save. I can't deny that. Something's going very badly wrong. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully when I haven't been sacked. Fingers crossed anyway. Bye for now.